Ibn al-Musayyib and Ibn Yasir forbade a man to sell wheat for gold on delayed terms, and then to buy dry dates with the gold before he had taken delivery of the gold. So the same thing, guys. You can't sell something that's not in your possession. You wait until whatever it is comes in your possession, and then you can sell it. Okay? What about prepayment on food? Ibn Umar said that there was no harm in a man making an advance to another man for food, with a set description and price until a set date. So in other words, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with paying in advance for food, paying in advance for something. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to pay you in advance for those apples that are due here. There's nothing wrong with that. One of the companions asked Ibn al-Musayyib, he said, I am a man who buys food with receipts. Perhaps I will buy something for a dinar and half a dirham, and will be given food for half. Ibn al-Musayyib said, no, you give a dirham and the rest in food. Okay? If someone buys food for a known price to be delivered at a stated time, when that time comes, the one who owns the food says, I do not have any food. Sell me the food which I owe you with delayed terms. And the owner says, this is not good. Okay, because the Prophet ﷺ forbade selling food until the deal was completed. So again, the same thing. We cannot sell food unless it's in your possession. Same thing. Okay, let's see what else. What about raising prices? Raising prices by stockpiling. Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, said, there is no hoarding in our market, and men who have excess gold in their hands should not buy up one of Allah's provisions. This is speaking about monopolizing, guys. Monopoly is haram in Islam. It's haram to have a monopoly on something. This is something that you want to remember. The Prophet ﷺ forbade bartering live animals for meat. In other words, selling live animals for meat. In other words, I cannot come to you and say, give me a pack of chicken and I'll sell you a real chicken. Okay? We cannot sell a real animal for meat. Okay? This is forbidden in Islam. Okay, let's see what else we have in here. The generally agreed on way of doing things is that the meat of camels and cattle is not to be bartered one for one. Okay? There is no harm in bartering the meat of fish for the meat of camels. Okay? Because poultry is different from the meat of cattle. Okay, let's see what else. Let's look at the next section. The next section proves to be interesting too. We talked about this today. What about selling a dog? What about selling a dog? The Prophet ﷺ forbade the sale price of a dog, and also the earnings of a prostitute and the earnings of a fortune teller. So it is forbidden in Islam, guys, to sell dogs. And by the way, for those who don't know, it is also forbidden to sell cats. You cannot sell cats either. Okay? The Prophet ﷺ forbade two sales in one. In other words, I'm not going to sit here and sell something to two people. Okay? This is illegal as well. Also, you cannot say, buy this camel for me so that I can buy him from you on credit. That's haram. Okay? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade mulamasa and munabada. What is this? Mulamasa is when a man can feel a garment, but he is not allowed to unfold it or look at it. He buys it by night and does not know what it is. This is haram. The Prophet forbade that. You can't say, I'll sell you this jilbab and I'll allow you to touch it, but you can't open it up and look at it. This is haram. The person should be able to examine what it is that he's buying. And what is munabada? Munabada is when a man throws his garment to another and the other throws his garment to him and neither one of them inspect it. This is illegal. I can't throw you my jilbab and you throw me yours and we say that's it, we done sold it. No, this is haram. Okay? The person should be able to examine whatever the goods are. Whatever you buy, be it fruit, be it clothing, be it animals, or even be it another human being. You have the right to examine it, to see what it is that you're getting. Okay? Okay, here's another important point to remember. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, both parties in a business transaction have the right of withdrawal as long as they have not separated. Okay, so we have a right to cancel the transaction as long as we don't leave each other. If you come to me and I'm selling you jilbabs and you buy it, you can come and change your mind and renege on it as long as you have not left my presence. This section here is speaking about debts and transfer of debts in general. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, delay in payment by a rich man is injustice. But when one of you is referred for payment to a rich man, let him be referred. In other words, if you buy something, guys, you should pay off your debts immediately if you can afford to. If you're a person that has money and you can afford what you're buying, you should not delay paying the people, because to do this would be a sin. Okay? What about bankruptcy? And this is a question that many Muslims ask. What about bankruptcy? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whenever a man sells wares and then the buyer becomes bankrupt and the seller has not taken any of the price, and he finds some of his property intact with the buyer, he is more entitled to the property than anyone else. And if the buyer dies, then the seller is the same as other creditors. In other words, if somebody goes bankrupt on you, you have a right to come and take your property. The same way that the kafir do in bankruptcy. If you're bankrupt, they're going to come and take what you got. They're going to take your house. They're going to take your car. They're going to take all your stuff. Well, the person that's most entitled are the people who you owed it to. So if a person goes bankrupt, then the debtor has a right to come and take what is his. And if you die, guess what? The people that you owe to have the right to be paid. That's why I tell you guys, but when you die, before your estate is divided up amongst your inheritors, the people who you owe debt to have a right to come take their money first. Okay?